he did what he had to do and killed Uncle Ben. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and this is technically my first top 10, but yeah, this is a top 10 for candidates, or really just characters, I think that are Skrulls in the MCU.
Okay, so let me stop and recap here. If you don't know, Skrulls were confirmed for the Captain Marvel movie that takes place in the 90s. Basically, Skrulls are an alien race that's able to shapeshift and steal abilities. So think of Johnny Storm from the second Fantastic Four.
So, I guess let's just jump into the list. So number 10 is Captain America, and basically he's an Avenger, which means that he knows some stuff. The Avengers work on projects, and he's also with S.H.I.E.L.D., and S.H.I.E.L.D. works on projects, so he probably just knows a lot about a little, mainly a little being the important stuff. And he also has allies in Wakanda, and Wakanda, is the most advanced when it comes to technology in the MCU, like the most advanced country. And he also has allies in S.H.I.E.L.D. that know stuff. So for a Skrull to pose as Captain America, I feel like that would definitely be perfect and help the Skrulls out a lot. And, they could have taken him over when he had just got thawed out of the ice. Or, when he went Nomad, because he's doing that in Infinity Wars. And then for number 9, this is a weird one, I have Hawkeye's wife. I mean, in my opinion, this character just came out of the blue. Not much was said about her origin. So, I feel like she might be a Skrull. And I know what you're thinking. This doesn't make sense, because what about your kids? Well, keep in mind that Hawkeye could have been, caught up with work. I don't know, tracking down Black Widow, because, he was assigned that. So, I don't know. I'm agreeing with Tony Stark here, saying that the kids are little Skrull agents. So, this is kind of a weird one, but I'm not saying it can't happen. And then, number 8 is Uncle Ben. This is also a weird one. But, Spider-Man knows a lot about superheroes, so he would probably know about Captain Marvel and how it's taking place in the 90s, or how it took place in the 90s, happened in the 90s, and that these Skrulls were a big threat. So I'm saying that Uncle Ben was a Skrull, and Peter saw him as a Skrull, and Peter knew that the Skrulls were a threat. So he did what he had to do and killed Uncle Ben. He set his own origin story. That's what I'm saying. Okay, for number 7, I have Maria Hill. Maria Hill is a top-level S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. She knows top of the top secret stuff, like, I don't know, location of the Soul Stone, location of the rest of the Infinity Stones. She's very close to the Avengers, especially Hawkeye and Black Widow, and I feel like her position in S.H.I.E.L.D. would be a perfect position for the Skrulls to sneak in, take over her job, pose as her, and then, figure out all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s secrets, so it's just, when the Skrulls attack, there's nothing S.H.I.E.L.D. can do, because the Skrulls are prepared for it, because they knew about S.H.I.E.L.D. And I just feel like she would be a good pick for the Skrulls. And another S.H.I.E.L.D. agent coming in for number 6 is Agent 13. Now, I have to be honest here, I kind of feel like Agent 13's character was a bit forced. I feel like her relationship with Captain America and her importance to S.H.I.E.L.D. was forced, but nonetheless, she was in a relationship with Captain America and was an importance to S.H.I.E.L.D. So, kind of the same with Maria Hill. The Skrulls noticed her position, took over, posed as her, found out everything, got close to the Avengers, maybe caused Captain America's death. I don't know. So yeah, it was kind of that. The Skrulls. I mean, I don't know. And then number 5, I feel kind of needs to happen, is Quicksilver. Quicksilver being a Skrull. I feel like they could easily make Quicksilver a Skrull and say that the Skrull died and the real Quicksilver is somewhere else. Maybe back at, like, not Zemo, Strucker's lair. It kind of doesn't make sense why the Skrull would fight with the Avengers, but maybe it wanted to take out the Avengers, but not in the same way that Ultron was planning, because Ultron was planning to just wipe out all life on the planet, and maybe the Skrull is just like, hey, I have friends posing as, like, the Fantastic Four or something, so don't kill everyone. And just ended up helping the Avengers and then accidentally died. For number 4, I have Heimdall. I thought of Heimdall when thinking about, like, who is a Skrull, because he is the gatekeeper. He's the guardian of Asgard. If anyone wants to go or leave, like, go to Asgard or leave Asgard, they have to first go through him. So I feel like, you know, he's highly trained too. So I feel like the Skrulls could take over his position and then literally gain control over the security in Asgard. Maybe weaken it, strengthen it to keep their plan running so, like, no foreign enemies come in and try to destroy everything they've kind of worked on. Like, setting up to destroy Asgard. I don't know. This could be a possibility. Happen in Thor Ragnarok. Highly doubt it, though. And I feel like Heimdall is the key to Asgard. The key to Asgard. So, if the Skrulls wanted to control Asgard, they would either take over Odin, which I think is missing, or Heimdall. Or Thor. But I know Thor's not a Skrull. It's just kind of basic knowledge. For number 3, this is a little weird, but I have Aunt May, because, you know, she's close to Peter, and Peter's close to the Avengers. And then for another reason, this whole hot Aunt May thing could be a Skrull that chose someone that morphed into someone who's attractive to get attention of people, kind of like Tony Stark in Civil War. So, you know, just like a clever Skrull. I don't know, but I'd kind of like to see this play out. Like, the one person that Peter can trust is his enemy. But, you know, like they said in Ninjago, the best way to defeat your enemy is to make them your friend. So, there's that. Speaking of friends. Number 2 is Happy Hogan. He's generally a grumpy person. He's angry. He doesn't like people. And if there's anything about villains, they do not like people. And I feel like Happy Hogan is just so close to the Avengers and their information. I mean, literally, he was like the only person there in charge of moving day for Avengers Tower. Which is kind of weird. Like, if you're gonna sell this giant tower that you and all your friends lived in with all of your information, I feel like you would want to be there. Like, I feel like Tony Stark would probably want to be there, but the fact that he's trusting Happy Hogan to be there instead of him kind of proves that, you know, Happy Hogan is this giant, important character, which would make him the perfect target for the Skrulls. And speaking of Tony Stark, this might come with a trigger warning, but my top pick for number 1 is Tony Stark. I think he is a Skrull, because he created weapons, he's big, he's popular, he's famous, he's probably around in the event of Captain Marvel. It's not like all the other Avengers were there, because, you know, Captain America was frozen, Thor was in Asgard, Hulk was off probably trying to figure out why he's the Hulk. So I feel like Tony Stark was one of the only Avengers that was actually, you know, popular in society. I mean, Spider-Man wasn't even born yet, probably. And so I feel like the Skrulls would have tried to take him over. Tried to, take him out, replace him. And like I said, he was building lots of weapons. Skrulls could have taken over him, replaced him, took his stuff, built weapons in space. I don't know. I mean, it's still kind of unclear if the Skrulls are working with Thanos. I personally don't think they are, but I don't know. And I just feel like, I saw this one comment on one video about it, and about the Skrulls, and it said that they think Iron Man is a Skrull because he created Ultron and signed the Sokovia Accords. The whole creating Ultron part, I don't think that would necessarily be evidence of him being a Skrull, because I don't know. I feel like Ultron was a mistake in the MCU, like creating Ultron was a mistake, but I feel like it was planned by Thanos. It was in the scepter, and it was in Loki's scepter, and Loki worked for Thanos. So I feel like Ultron was kind of a plan B. They hid an alien AI just in case, Tony Stark or Bruce Banner, like they did in the movie, was just like, hey, let's try to dissect this, because we got, like, signs of an artificial intelligence or something. But the Sokovia Accords, I feel like Tony Stark just noticed their destructiveness when they were saving the world. But I guess it could be spun like Tony Stark is a Skrull, and, the Skrull is just like, let me take advantage of this, where the government wants to, like, dial down the Avengers and what they can do. So then the Skrull could get his friends, and then they could all just swoop in, take out the Avengers, and leave with no questions. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of could see why that person would say this, but I don't think that's, I don't think those two reasons are, like, why Tony Stark is a Skrull. I think there's more to it, kind of like his weapons background, his high-tech armor, stuff like that. But, yeah, that was my top 10 list. And if you're wondering why I didn't have, like, characters like Falcon or Black Widow, I just feel like Falcon would just kind of be an odd pick by the Skrulls. And, Black Widow is generally secretive. That's just her personality. So, I don't know why everyone's saying that she's a Skrull. It's just how she is. That's why I didn't include her on the list. Yeah, those are my, I guess, opinions on who might become a Skrull. Let me know if you agree, or if you think, like, somebody else would be a Skrull, or if anyone even is a Skrull. Because, like, before this, like, last week, everybody was perfectly content thinking that everyone was the real, Iron Man, real Spider-Man. This stuff didn't really come up until, like, Comic-Con. So, no one could be a Skrull. The Skrulls could just be a side character. They could just be, like, filler enemies. But, yeah, that's my list. I hope you enjoyed. Share your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching, and see you next time.